we've had negotiations with the Karpower ship over and over and over again, but what do we owe Karpower ship for starters? Let's clear that, because previously we knew that we had a huge debt burden with Karpower ship. How much do we owe Transco, SLCG and Karpower?
We've always owed Karpower since 2021. So we carry over those arrears and they accumulate as we go. As I speak, let me put it this way. If you add the arrears and what we have to pay for the power they supply now, by June we should pay Karpower $90 million, a little over $90 million. That includes the debt and what we have to pay over time.
In your honest assessment, what do you think about the fact that we've gone on negotiations with Karpower ship, and then obviously it's not free, they're getting paid for the service delivered, and we've not turned attention to refurbishing King Tom, Blackhall Road, all these power stations, or even perhaps investing that into the further development of even Bumbuna?
Let me put it this way, so people can understand. I give you an example, an analogy. It's like you go to somebody, you borrow $1,000, and they say you should pay $100 every month. So you pay them for 4 months, yeah, you still owe $600, right? But then you go back and borrow another 1,000. Now you owe them 1,600. Then you're still on the monthly payment of $100. You pay again another 4 months, so you're down from 1,600, you're down now to 1,200, but then you go back and borrow another 1,000. So now you owe 2,200. It's a vicious circle with emergency power. This is why the president wants us to remain focused. Yeah? That energy sovereignty, it's his terminology. I did not make it. At the retreat, he shocked all of us with that terminology. He said, I want energy sovereignty for our country. We have to find our way to wean ourselves off emergency power after 20 years. It doesn't mean, like we've seen across West Africa, you will never have a partnership with Karpower. Yeah, you have to. But the context is different. They came here under emergency conditions. Now we are in a transition situation. We want to transition to bigger power. We want to transition to cleaner power, yeah, as much as we can. So again, because we're still negotiating, there are 4 months to go with their contract, we're looking at everything, and they've been good partners, let's face it. Because we didn't fix everything we should fix, as you said, King Tom, Blackhall Road, and other issues over a decade, yeah, now they're serving us, and they've been here. At least they've been giving us power, right? Because we don't have another source except we buy from others. Yes, we owe them, and we owe Transco. We owe Transco another 20-something million. This again comes back to the EDSA issue. That's why you see the obsession, but don't worry, we'll put a team together with Dr. Taylor and others so that you have a session on EDSA, everything we need to do to get it to work right. Because I sympathize with the Ministry of Finance. I keep saying that. I've spent a lot of time with them now, and in fact,
why do you sympathize with them?
Because our utility cannot pay bills, suddenly it becomes sovereign debt. Suddenly we have to go to them to pay.
So this still leaves us with the business model of EDSA. EDSA itself, electricity is a business. Yeah. We're running on prepaid meters. Yeah. It seems the business model of EDSA is ineffective because it's a business. You're selling electricity. But how come EDSA is in this situation where it cannot even pay off its debts to the suppliers, talk less of being independent financially to a point where they can be able to invest in other sources? Yeah. The business model.
If you want to do EDSA, that's why I'm promising you, you're not even asking. We're going to have a public information session on EDSA reforms, what we've seen, all the we've done recent assessment 3-4 months, so that you look at it in totality. It's not a quick answer because so many things are wrong. Yeah?
We'll take that as you've put it, but still finally on EDSA, MDAs are some of the biggest debtors for EDSA. So you find a situation where MDAs owe a huge chunk of money, but those locals in their communities suffer the crux of the repercussions of the MDA's debts they've not paid to EDSA. And many of these MDAs, they have their yearly budget. Ministry of Finance allocate. That's a whole conversation on its own. But electricity supply is part of their budget. Yet they owe EDSA crazy amounts of money.
Very true.
What are you doing as, you know, part of the new leadership of electricity in the country to chase after those MDAs to pay EDSA what they owe them?
Thank you for raising it. Very accurate. You're doing your homework very well. So we're with finance, because the deal we had that has existed with finance cut at source. Cut their bills at source. So before you send the money to education, that phone bill, that light bill when they owe we, cut at 110. Yeah, that's one solution. But to avoid accumulation, we're discussing internally now some of them prepaid tamper-proof meters. We'll go begin put another ministry. You know, then there's in the show where EDSA building they blackout. Yeah. So as I say, we the leadership must show that responsibility, that sense of responsibility and leadership. So then, Seth, we're discussing internally. So until they can begin give them prepaid, so that's not the day again. Also, you pay like any citizen, you get lights. Yeah, we budgets can pay 110, but the other solution is cut at source. So we're in conversations. MDAs owe us a lot of money, but at the same time, the government is subsidizing the energy sector big time. The energy sector, that's why it is so crucial that we don't do quick fixes, emergency solutions.
Do we still need to maintain those subsidies? Because take, for example, in fuel situation, in gas, government was doing subsidy. At some point, we figured out this is not a sustainable method, and it's adding more burden on the government, and that was reversed. Do we need that in the energy sector?
Similarly, that's why.
Would you advise we need that?
So that's why you need that energy mix where we started before. You see how things connect.
Yeah, but you've not answered. Do you think we need that?
Let me give you, in our case, you include more cheaper, least cost sources in the mix. You lower tariff to affordable levels, then you don't have to subsidize. Yeah. In addition, you make sure the biggest debtor, the government institutions, you cut at source or you give them prepay. Yeah. In the energy sector, policies interlink. Yeah. So we got to do all of the above. I'm very happy you went back to where we started. That's why it's a systems issue. It's not a quick fix. It's a systems issue. If you don't fix several parts of the system, the whole doesn't hold. And that's why we're focused, in spite of the interruptions now. We're going to check why the interruptions, but we're staying on that trajectory that we've developed with the president, short term, medium term, long term, so we have sustainable, affordable, reliable power in this country based on SDG 7.
Lastly, from my end, I notice your team is, you know, sending us signals you have to go. But on a personal note now, I'd love both of your responses to this answer. It's on your personal opinion assessment. You've been appointed in office at a very crucial time, literally the dark days in the country when it comes to electricity issues. How do you feel about your appointments, your job opportunities during this time when it's not one of the beautiful or rosy institutions to work? I'd like to hear your submissions on this. Personally, how do you feel?
He goes first. I go
yes, engineer, please, for me. How do you feel? You're a very young man, and this is your debut in public service as a government minister. While, right? And this is your first appointment in a very challenging sector. People really don't like you guys right now.
Yes. Well, I'm having fun because as an engineer, you know, you go through your training and you know that engineering exists to solve problems, practically solve problems. Engineering is the practical application of science and technology. So I've always enjoyed challenging assignments. I've also always enjoyed being able to look at systems and understand where there are weaknesses in systems and then design what needs to be designed that will solve problems. So for me, it's been interesting. I've always been someone who's not shy to confront issues. I've always been someone who I don't mind if people don't like me. But once we're doing the right thing and we're helping people, that's what's important for me.
Doc?
I'm excited. I'm excited because I've spent 30 years in this space. I've been advocating for energy access, developing SDG 7, SDG 9, and so on over the last 30 years. I'm excited because I know it can be done. Yeah, and I feel very honored. When President Bill asked me to do, I say, "Pana bad name job o tindom puel." It's a kind of dynamic you get for doing leadership. Now we problem day, and indeed, it's not Kande, it's the team. That's what we're building now. It is engineer Nonie, it's engineer Taylor, it's our engineers, the senior guys we have. But the difference is we have the guy who is leading the team is Mr. President, is Minister of Finance, it is Vice President. We're bringing everybody around because he has the Commander-in-Chief is saying, join me to fix it. For me, it's a wonderful challenge because it includes public policy. It includes finance. It includes building partnerships, technology, everything that I have known about for 30 years. So we're trying to bring that home, and the networks and knowledge systems to bring them home, to set us on a trajectory of sustainable, reliable power. But I'm very confident because we have the team. It is also a challenge in change management. I did change management for my last organization. The culture change is the biggest challenge. If you go look at the theory of change management. Culture change is here. There are management issues, structural issues, technology issues, institutional policy issues, values, and then culture. How do we go down then to that workforce that they share this drive and the sense of urgency? What I see missing the most is that sense of urgency. People have a task to do and take it in 10. Project for finish, then take it in 10. But where exchange rate change, you lost value for the project. Project way for done 4 year, you do a 7 year. Now they try for the other one, then they're not done. So that culture change, but also the sense of responsibility of citizens, which he was referring to, that we own this this transformer, we all help for protect. If we catch you the poela, we deal with you in this community. And also the sense of responsibility of those in the agencies. No go do fake meter, no go connect, and standardization. So in sum, what I'm saying is, it's an exciting opportunity to help this country with all the bad name way and implications. But look, my sister, if some of us don't stand using all the knowledge we have to fix some things now, we pass it on. And that's what has happened to emergency power. 4, 5 administrations, same business model as you can call it. We want to change that business model. We want to break it to go into transition. Short, medium, long-term transitions. And I'm convinced, fully convinced, in the next few years, we'll be on a trajectory that you will know so well that you know they allow person for come back to the old style. Would they change that business model?